everyone. Welcome to our 250th consecutive weekly rally. My name is Julia Bower-Richardson, and I am the co-founder of Justice Southbury, along with my amazing dad, Rick Richardson. 250 weeks, nearly 5 years. Every single week since George Floyd was murdered in May 2020, we have gathered. We have stood on this corner in protest, grief, hope, and action. We have demanded justice. We have refused silence. And we have insisted that the world and our own community can and must be better. And as we reach this 250-week milestone, I think it's important to pause and reflect, not just on where we are now, but how this all began. We first stood on this corner because George Floyd was murdered. That moment, his murder at the hands of a Minneapolis police officer, laid bare another chilling example of the violence and racism embedded in the very systems meant to protect us. And in response, we gathered in protest. We gathered in outrage. We gathered because his murder was not an anomaly. It was a symptom of a system steeped in centuries of anti-Black racism and injustice. And we gathered in commitment to demanding that Black lives matter. Not just in theory, but in policy, in accountability, and in action. And I need us to hold on to that truth, because as the weeks turned into months and the months turned into years, our mission here has evolved. What began as an outcry over George Floyd's murder has expanded into a larger fight for justice and equity for all. This movement has grown, as it should, but I want to be crystal clear. Our foundation is and always will be our reaction to the killing of yet another Black man. His murder is why we are here. His murder is why we raised our voices. But now, nearly 5 years later, we have arrived at a chilling moment in history yet again. This week, one of the most powerful and visible people in the world, Elon Musk, and others, have begun calling for Derek Chauvin, George Floyd's murderer, to be pardoned. After 250 weeks of standing here screaming for justice, there are now billionaires with global platforms trying to convince the world that George Floyd's killer was somehow the victim. They are not just trying to rewrite the truth, they are trying to erase it. And now, as powerful people attempt to rewrite history in favor of George Floyd's murderer, our presence here is more critical than ever. We are part of the firewall between truth and erasure. If we stop showing up, they win. If we fall silent, they win. If we stop demanding justice, they win. We cannot let this moment become one more example of how the truth can be twisted when it threatens the comfort of the powerful. And we cannot become complacent, thinking the fight is over just because time has passed. Because while our gathering has taken on many forms, through candlelight vigils, moments of silence, impassioned speeches, and loud chants, our grounding principle has never wavered. We are here because George Floyd was killed. We are here because Breonna Taylor was killed. We are here because Tyree Nichols was killed. And we are here because the list is still growing. Because the systems that perpetuate racial violence have not yet been dismantled. And because we knew that injustice does not exist in a vacuum, and neither can our response to it. And here's the hard truth. The people who benefit from injustice are counting on our energy to fade. They are hoping we will get tired. They are hoping we will lose this momentum. They are hoping we will forget why we came here in the first place. In my very first speech on this corner nearly 5 years ago, I asked you not to let this be simply a fleeting moment of outrage, but to turn it into a movement of love in action. I asked you to dig deep, to commit to this cause, to stay loud, and to stay engaged. And you did. Week after week after week, you did. But now I'm going to ask you for something even harder. I'm going to ask you to keep going, to not just keep showing up, but to keep your hearts open, to keep having the uncomfortable conversations with your family and your friends, to keep calling out injustice when you see it in our community, to keep advocating for systemic change when it feels like no one is listening. To keep holding our local and federal government accountable when they tell us that change is impossible. So no, we're not going anywhere. We're not stepping down. We're not fading out. We will keep showing up. We will keep speaking out. We will keep standing in the face of injustice and saying, not here, not in our town, not in our country, and not in our world. Thank you.